Today, I want to talk about two things that I find that go hand in hand. And there might be several folks in your life that demonstrate this type of behavior. And I want to talk about double standards and control. It seems that many of us have people in our life that they are allowed to do whatever they want to do. They can do anything they want to do, but when it comes to us, we have to do certain things. And they basically try to mandate that. So they put rules on us, they put regulations on us, but when it comes to them, it seems like the rules don't apply to them. Very interesting. And I find that this is also a major method of control because if I'm telling you that you have to live up to this standard or you have to do this, otherwise there's something wrong with you, and I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, it's basically not only a double standard, but I'm controlling what you do, but I'm not really focused on myself. I find that many of us have folks in our life that actually demonstrate these types of situations. And I want you to start thinking about that. Look at family. Look at your family. Look at your friends. Maybe even your spouse. And I'm not trying to alienate anybody or cause any sort of friction, but I want you to see, is this happening in your own life? Because I realize there's byproducts of this type of control. We get resentful. We have resentment, right? So we get kind of like, I can't believe this person is judging me again on something that I'm doing. Another thing that's interesting is that in the beginning, we don't really recognize the fact that they're able to do whatever they want, and sometimes they will actually contradict themselves in like the same hour. And so let me give you some examples. I've been recently talking to some clients about various things, and one of them said, hey, my mother is completely against jaywalking. You cannot jaywalk, you have to wait till the walk sign is illuminated, the light has to be green, everything has to be that way for us to be able to walk across the street. And the other day, their mother just walked out on a do not walk sign and didn't even think about it. It had nothing to do with it because they were just telling that other person what they needed to do, not that it applied to them. And I think that's interesting because that's a small example, right? That's a really, really minuscule example. But the bigger examples become about, personal choices. Like a good example is drinking. You can't drink. When you have one beer, you become a problem. After two beers, you're a complete problem. You get out of control. You cannot drink. While that other person is on beer number 4 or 5 and really doesn't think about anything to do with it, even though they're completely out of control, they're telling you how to live your life. And that can be frustrating when you see that that person's actually not living up to the standards that they make you live to. So how do you deal with this? How do we function in an environment where somebody is telling us how to live, not living by it, and then trying to control us based on how we do this? And this is a very interesting question to ask because it's really hard to navigate these waters when you're dealing with somebody that has very little self-awareness. Because think about it, it has to go hand in hand unless they believe that the law doesn't apply to them, which is a possibility that they're above it, which is a very narcissistic, self-centered thought process, right? You have to do this while I'm allowed to do whatever I want. It could be that or it could be the other, right? I mandate these things, but then I don't have any self-awareness to even realize that I don't even follow my own rules. And I think that there might be a combination, right? So it might be the self-centered, it's all about me, as well as the fact that I'm not self-aware to understand that I make all these rules, have other people jump through the hoops, but I just don't do it. And so when I found that when we're dealing with folks like this, sometimes we can point it out, but very rarely do they see their situation. Very rarely do they see what they are doing. But I do find that these same folks also go a step further, and it's about the extreme way of thinking. So a lot of these same folks have that thought process that's very black and white. So, a good example would be, one day, you're supposed to go play with the grandkids and it's super hot outside and you don't feel like doing it because it's really hot, but you love the grandkids and you love playing with the grandkids, but it's just not something you want to do in that moment in 105-degree temperature. And the other person looks at you and says, well, you just don't like playing with the grandkids. You don't care about the kids. You don't want to do anything with them. You just never want to hang out with them. And it's the extreme thought of, well, this is one day in a calendar of 365 days where it hit 105. I want to hang out with the kids, but I don't want to play outside in this type of heat. It doesn't mean that I don't love the kids. It doesn't mean that I don't want to play with the kids. It doesn't mean that I don't want to hang with the kids. It just means it's 105. So let's actually look at the logic in this argument and be able to see it's not black and white like that. And so I found that the double standards comes with the black and white thinking and comes with the control. And the only way that we can really process and deal with this is just not to allow their double standards to get to us. Is literally to be able to be the governor of our own life and be able to find that freedom in our relationship. And the fact that, okay, if you're my mom, if you're my dad, sister, brother, or even spouse, I can hear what you're saying, but I don't have to take it into consideration, and I don't have to follow what you're saying. I'm an adult. I'm an adult that can do what I want to do. And I think that this is very powerful, and it's hard sometimes when we've been controlled for so long and programmed for so long that if we don't do this, the wrath is going to come down, or the silent treatment's going to happen, or something like that is going to take place. And quite honestly, if we don't give in to these types of retaliations, like the silent treatment or the argument, eventually they let it go because it no longer triggers us anymore. And so this is a really important aspect of today's video, is just to realize when somebody's trying to give you double standards and trying to control you, if you keep catering into them and doing what they want you to do, unfortunately, they're going to continue to bully you and run your life. And so eventually we have to get some autonomy and freedom and realize that sometimes they're going to be saying whatever they say, but realizing that when they say it, they don't live up to it anyway. So why are we actually listening to it, and why do we care if we do it or not? Good questions. I hope this video has helped you. If you can, go on and subscribe to the channel because it makes us know that we're doing something right here. If you like the video, please give us a like and let me know, are you dealing with a family member or a friend that's holding you accountable and not holding themselves accountable? And have you brought it up, or have you stayed quiet? By the way, we have options of memberships here on the YouTube channel, so you can become a member and get exclusive content, as well as going to ashleyberges.com. We have a membership site as well, and you can become a member there for exclusive content as well. Don't forget to live your true life.